Have you noticed that, or is it just that we're getting older and we're just realizing it more that cancers are more on the rise?
Yeah, 100%.
Every other person's
Yeah,
got some sort of cancer.
yeah. Cancer is on the rise, but also we have to asterisk that with the fact that detection rates are higher. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. There's a city which is they've got 10%. Let's say in each city, let's say in every city, there's 1 in 100 people are thieves, which is probably about right, yeah. Robbers, whatever. 1% of people. In London, it's probably that 20% with the Rolex robberies that are going on. But let's say 1% of people. So that's the assumption. If you bring more police officers, that's the crime rate. The crime rate is 1 in 100. If you bring more police officers to that place, will the crime rate go up or down?
The crime rate will probably be that's, I don't know if that's a trick question, but I'd say the crime rate would be the same, but you'd catch more people because
Yeah.
you've got more people surveillance.
Yeah. So it won't stay the same because you've got more surveillance, like you said, it'll go up. So you're catching more crime. So because you're catching it more, it appears as though it's growing. But the crime rate is actually the same. Crime hasn't gone up. Just the detection has gone up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So do you think it affects people more when they know they've got cancer now?
I think so. I think our ancestors would have got cancers. It's just a natural mutation. Mutations happen. But they wouldn't have called it cancer. They would have just said, oh, he died young, he had a heart problem, he had a lung problem, he just had a liver problem, a kidney problem. They wouldn't have known. He just died, oh, poor guy lost weight, he couldn't eat and he just died. But he may have had cancer. We know indigenous people get cancer. In Peru, in Papua New Guinea, they get cancer. But they don't call it cancer. They just call it natural diseases. But there is definitely a link between what we eat, how we live, radiation, modern convenience lifestyles, processed foods, and the incidence of cancer. Incidence meaning minimize that. Because in Chernobyl, Ukraine, in 1989, the nuclear spillage, there's animals there that have mutated. There's actually an article, I think last week or the week before, there's random species of wolf that have been created from this fusion, the nuclear emissions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mutated how?
Yeah, seriously. There's actually, if you type it in, it wasn't a subreddit forum. It's actually a genuine news article about this, saying they found species of, I think, worms or something, I'm not sure, or maybe bigger animals that are just really, they've just mutated because of the radiation. So radiation does, obviously, how do you treat cancer? Radiotherapy. You blast it with radiation. Radiation kills in high doses. So what about in small doses?
Wow. Really, really interesting. Are there any natural remedies that you would say that could work against cancers and stuff that you've seen? Like some people say turmeric reduces inflammation. People say shilajit, the black tarry stuff that comes from mountains. You've got iris sea moss, 92 minerals out of the 102. Do you think all of these things like sort of work? Is there a remedy that you think that you should be having this like every morning to make sure that your body's functioning good or fine or anything?
The problem is we're using we're trying to treat Western diseases with Eastern medicine. In the East, the culture is based on prevention. You stop paying your hakim when you get ill. He's failed you. In the West, we stop paying when we get ill. So I don't think taking them in the 20s and 30s is going to change much, because these are lifestyle things we should have had from a young age. I'm a big believer in black seed oil. Our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us black seed oil is a cure for everything except death. I believe in Zamzam water. I believe in honey. I believe in turmeric, haldi. I believe in curcumin from cumin. I believe in capsaicin from spice. I believe in natural remedies, but they can't undo the damage we've done from Western lifestyles, which is very heavily pro-inflammatory. Our mobile phones, our processed foods, our sitting down all day, our fizzy drinks have massively inflamed us. So the damage is massive. The question is, can this undo some of the damage? I think it can to a certain extent, but we need to incorporate it from a young age.
Wow. Wow. And so it really needs to be in schools.
Yeah, of course.
It really needs to be taught, and what we're not really taught
Yeah.
is a meal deal, sandwich,
Yes.
carbohydrates full of sugar, crisps, carbs,
Salt,
refined.
extra salt in there,
Oh,
and like everything, and all these MSGs, and
wash it down with a Coke.
push it down the coat, and which is bad for teeth and all that kind of stuff. It's just addictive. And you mentioned ADHD and all these things, and processed foods is
Mm,
big on that because it contains colorings and additives which really mess up brain neurochemistry.
mhm,
Eat good, like eat well, eat
mhm.
wholesome food.
Yeah. I've always been taught that eat food that you can see what it
Yes.
is. Imagine something being incinerated, compounded, processed, like, carbohydrates. If you eat, like, real carbs and you're eating it, it fills you up. What about something that's just been processed so much? It's obviously going to spike everything in your
Exactly.
your body, but we're not taught that.
And a good heuristic meaning rule of thumb, a good rule of thumb is do not eat things which weren't in existence 100 years ago.
Wow.
That's a great analogy.
No.